Lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines, and most importantly, provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And what do I mean by that? I mean, I only speak to transportation professionals on this show, as well as my twice-a-week long-form podcast, because I only want to talk to the people who have done what you're looking to do or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve, so you can take all of that information, apply it, utilize it, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. It's one of the many, many reasons why I would probably fly this American flag behind me every single day. A, we're the greatest nation on earth, but B, I'm living my American dream, and I want to help each and every one of you live yours as well. Solo show today. I got guests lined up for tomorrow and Thursday, and then Friday is Q&A day. Every single Friday, you guys, we do a transportation sales and operations related Q&A show. So if you have any of those, DM them over to me. I will answer them live on the show, or just drop them in the live stream on Friday during the show, and I will answer them out there. But before we go any further, got to give a shout out to my friends over at VHub. You guys, vhubapp.com. Whether you're a broker, carrier, or a shipper, we all need to add we all like to, we all need trailers, and then we like to get paid as well, right? Because that's what you get with VHub, is you can get on their platform and get paid to move the trailers on there. And that's on top of the revenue that you can get by loading those trailers out. So what they're working on right now, you guys, is they have a bunch of trailers out in San Diego, California, which is Ron Burgundy's hometown. And they're going all over the place, you guys. They got some going to Louisville, Kentucky. You get $1,100 to do that. They also have trailers. They have a couple of roll-up doors going to North Carolina and Virginia. And then they have swing doors going out to Illinois and Ohio. And they range anywhere from like $1,100 to $1,700 per trailer, you guys. They have an RGN out in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, needing to go to Elgin, Illinois. You get $700 for that. And then they also have some trailers and drive-ins in Evansville, Wisconsin, needing to go to Mississauga, Ontario, and you get $500 US per trailer out there. So hit them up, vhubapp.com. My man Zach Lonergan and Stacey Steen, they'll be in the audience. Do me a favor, let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. Tracy St. Clair coming in on YouTube as always. Thanks for tuning in, Tracy. Robert, what is going on, man? Robert Pietkowski, good fucking morning to you, my friend. Thanks for tuning in. Sonny Shorma, good morning, Freight Freaks. Let's go, he says. Thomas Wiederin, Freight Morning. Yeah, man, I appreciate you tuning in to all these live shows, man. We go live every single weekday. Catherine Whitehouse, great morning. Good morning, Freight Peeps. Corey Buchan, good morning, all, he says. And Jeff Patterson, good morning to you, sir. All right, you guys, it is a great Tuesday today. Robert Blake, good morning. Vanessa Galvis, good morning to you. Vanessa's with Thai Software, you guys. If you guys want to check them out for new TMS, you guys are in the market for a new TMS, you should hit up Vanessa. You guys, do that. Hit them up. Learn about what they have going on out there. I also talked to their CEO recently on my podcast, Walter Mitchell. You guys, they got some really good stuff going on over there. Talk to them. It was a great morning this morning, you guys. And, and I gotta talk about this, for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, or, hitting this up on the audio only replay. I've been in the industry for a long time. I'm currently building up my brokerage right now. And, we just got some positive feedback this morning from a customer of ours. And, I want to talk about that and like the correlation of like all the work that you put in that you think is not getting noticed, right? Because it's really, really hard to build stuff, you guys. Contrary to popular belief out there on the internet, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. And it can be exhausting at times, right? And, we got some really good feedback from a customer of ours this morning because, we focus on communication. That is, as a freight broker, at the end of the day, that is the biggest value add you can bring to your customers, right? It's just keeping people informed about what's going on. And, we recently delivered a load for them, and then they heard from their customer how great we did, in like the following up and everything, and keeping them informed about what was going on. And, it never gets old getting that positive feedback out there. And especially when you build stuff and you deal with all the rejection that comes along with it every single day, day in and day out. And those emails and that feedback that you get in those moments, that's what makes it all worth it to me. That's what makes me, get up every single day and put in the effort is, because it's mentally taxing. I'm not going to ever sit up here and say that it's easy, beats me up just as much as it beats every single one of you up when it comes down to all of it. But knowing that you're, that proof of concept and getting that it's just the greatest feeling in the world. It really is. And I just want to put that out there for everybody who's watching, is just to keep pushing no matter what, right? Keep pushing, keep putting in the effort, keep putting that outreach, and then keep following up. And then communication is key, you guys, no matter what. Keeping all parties informed, whether your customer is the shipper, the receiver, or however that looks, keeping people informed about what's going on, and accurate ETAs, as accurate as you can give, right? Because things happen in transit. There's going to be delays. Shit's going to happen, you guys. But like keeping people informed seemingly makes most of your problems go away in business. And that's just one of those situations that I will always hold our team to as we grow stuff out, you guys, because at the end of the day, this is like, for me, it's just that proof of concept and building it, and then growing and expanding that out there. And again, talking about the wins and the losses on this show and continuing to put best practices out there for everybody. Because again, like the way that we operate isn't proprietary, right? Like I want best practices out there across the industry, because I want everybody to be able to apply this stuff to their business and see a difference out there. And, and I just think that as you continue to show up every single day, continue to do the right thing no matter what, even when it's not convenient for you. Our number one core value is do the right thing. Like number one, no matter what, in all circumstances, we are always going to show up and do the right thing. It might not be the easiest thing at that moment, but we're going to do the right thing. And, and then we're going to build this up one truck at a time. It's literally on my, I don't know, you guys probably can't see this, but that's what it says on my Freight Coach Logistics pen, is one truck at a time. And that is how we are going to build this up, brick by brick, you guys. We're going to do it out here in front of it, and we're going to put it all out there for you guys to follow and apply it if you see fit out there, you guys, because no matter what you're going through in your business, if you're struggling with all the rejection, if you're struggling with all this shit, just know that I'm out here putting in the work with you guys. I'm not just like, I don't just like talk shit into I do talk shit into a mic, but I don't just talk shit into a mic and post stuff on social media all day. I am actively doing this stuff with you guys. So no matter what, if you're out there dealing with the rejection and dealing with the hardships and everything else, just know I'm fucking right beside you doing it as well. So keep it up no matter what, because the effort is worth it. The positive reinforcements of getting that positive feedback from your customers is coming. Just keep putting forth that effort every single day, you guys. Jason, what is up? Good morning from JVR Freight Last Mile Leaders. I like it. I like it, Jason. Get it. Byron, what is up? He says, good morning. Carla Istad, what is up? Good morning to you. Thanks for tuning in. Billy Lake, the praise is fuel to keep going. Amen to that, brother. That is the truth. Jason says over communication is key. Byron says, don't ever stop believing in your dream. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. That means a lot. That means a lot. And then Byron, I do have a heart. I promise. Patty says, brick by brick, with the right work ethic, we build a strong. Amen to that, Patty. Amen to that. All right. Let's get into a couple of articles here, you guys. There's some fucking the internet is just a phenomenal place at times, you guys. It really is. And I some of these articles that I see just crack me up. But I promise I only choose the best ones for you guys to break down. As always, the links to all of these articles are going to be up on the YouTube channel, as well as the Coffee with the Freight Coach audio only replay, which is available on iTunes and Spotify. And if you guys see value, subscribe to the show, you guys. That's all I can ask at the end of the day. Subscribe to this show if you see value in it. First article we are going to break down, freightwaves.com. And this one just made my blood boil because, yeah, a former North Carolina trucking company employee accused of embezzling $900,000. 15-year TruePack Moving Systems employee charged with 13 counts of money laundering, fraud, money laundering, wire, and tax fraud. Federal grand jury has indicted a former employee alleging she defrauded them of $900,000. Michelle Wilshire of Hickory, North Carolina, was charged with 6 counts of wire fraud, 5 counts of tax fraud, and 2 counts of money laundering, according to an indictment filed in the U.S. District Court in North Carolina. According to public records, Wilshire worked for that company for more than 15 years. TruePack is a family-owned company, has 16 drivers and the same number of trucks, and provides global moving services for the military as well as residential and corporate moves. The indictment states that Wilshire worked as a coordinator before being promoted to a comm data administrator for them in 2016. Her duties included coordinating labor expenses and issuing checks, as well as handling all transfers and ensuring the necessary funds were loaded onto prepaid debit card through Comdata, who is a Tennessee-based third-party provider of fleet management and payment solutions. Federal investigators allege that from 2016 to 2021, Wilshire devised and executed a scheme to defraud her employer by issuing multiple prepaid debit cards in her name and in the names of other individuals, including former employees, fictitious employees, and current employees who were not aware the cards existed. Wilshire then caused Comdata to load funds onto these prepaid debit cards. She allegedly withdrew these funds via cash withdrawals at multiple ATMs in the county and elsewhere. A publication and representative for TruePack did not respond to this article for comment. And then between 2017 and 2021, Wilshire withdrew more than $528,000 from prepaid cotton debit cards. Federal prosecutors also allege that she embezzled company funds by using that mobile services to issue checks in her name and make multiple wire transfers into her personal bank account, which totaled $315,000. The indictment claims she directed Comdata to transfer more than $58,000 into a bank account of an informer employee. Wilshire prepared and filed her income taxes for those years, which did not include any of the additional funds she allegedly received. This is insane. Like, it's absolutely insane to me that, because that's a lot of effort, right? To go through and set up multiple accounts and all of this stuff to do, that's so much effort to do it. And then furthermore, how did nobody, as a business owner, I don't know too much information about like the internal infrastructure of this company, but I would assume she had full control over this and there was nobody really checking a lot of this stuff, because I think that, again, that's a lot of money, right? Like, and especially for a 16 truck operation as a whole, and we're looking at 5 years, $500,000 or $900,000 to, over a 5-year period. I mean, it's $180,000 a year. And then you break that up, again, I'm just looking at it, over that. So it's $15,000 a month, essentially, is what it breaks down to. And, if you do that, that's so much effort, right? And it's like, how did they not catch it in that time frame, right? Like, how did, again, I know some investigations take time, but I just don't see how that much money goes missing from that size of an organization, right? Because 16 truck company is it's not that big overall, right? And how it just went unchecked is kind of what's crazy to me. But again, I get it, because it's like you want to trust that you're hiring people to do the right thing. But it's like, as a business owner, and Sonny, that's my thing, is it's like myself, I overlook now granted, my business is smaller, I overlook my expenses all the time. And I look at my monthly P&L all the time, and I just don't see how it gets to that point. It's crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy to me. Because it's like, also, how does like, if you're using I'm not blaming Calm Data here at all. I'm just using them. How does how like I wonder if they send an amount of reports to the company. And again, if she's in charge of all of this, I could see how it didn't get transferred over, about how many Calm Data cards are out there and who are the funds going to, right? Because like if I used a service like Calm Data, I would want an itemized report every single month sent to me about whose name or who has the cards, what their total transactions are in a transaction report. I would want all of that stuff sent over to me or my accounting team to go through this and see where is all of this money going. And then furthermore, the amount of planning that it has to go into this and the execution of this, you could have, in that time frame, you could have legally made well over $1 million if you would have just applied yourself to some good, right? And I think that's what most criminals don't fucking understand is if the amount of time and effort they go into concocting all of these plans to defraud people's money, they could easily have made all of that money for themselves in that situation and do the right thing, right? Oh my gosh, it makes my blood boil, because like, how many jobs does that cost now? How many people lose their livelihood because of all of that? Articles from FreightWaves, though, former North Carolina trucking company employee accused of embezzling over $900,000. That is, it's crazy. It's crazy. Byron says, yeah, absolutely, man. I will make sure you guys get all the up-to-date news out there, and that we need to have a team freight coach. Kevin Dodd says that they are an agent for United. And yeah, man, it's nuts. It's nuts. It's hard enough to fucking win in business, like it's hard enough to build something up just to have somebody fucking rip it all away from you because of greed. That's what bugs the shit out of me. Kind of like unions, greed, right? No, I'm just kidding. Kind of. But let me see here, you guys. Next article we are going to break down today is also going to be from FreightWaves. And this is also about Werner's appeal of $100 million Texas verdict focuses on legal arguments. Werner Enterprises has appealed a more than $100 million verdict issued against them in the Texas Supreme Court. The appeal filed last week focuses on questions of law rather than facts of the horrific 2014 crash that killed one family member and severely injured several others. The basic facts of this case have been widely known since the original nuclear verdict came down in 2018 for about $90 million, with added interest pushing the current judgment above the century mark by now. Just after Christmas in 2014, on a day with cold and wet weather and highways slick with black ice, a car driven near Odessa, Texas by Trey Salinas, carrying several members of the Blake family across a grassy median, collided head-on with a Werner truck driven by Shiraz Ali. A 7-year-old Zachary Blake was killed, and 3 other Blake family members suffered serious injuries. One was left a quadriplegic, and Salinas was not seriously injured and is not part of the lawsuit. The lower court was affirmed in May by an en banc panel of, the jury assigned 70% of the blame to Werner and 14% to Ali. Salinas received the other 16%. I just want to read this over again, this other part. On a day, cold, wet weather and highway slick with black ice, a car driven near there by Trey Salinas carrying several members of the Blake family crossed a grassy median. And so if I'm reading this right, the car crossed into the Werner truck, if I'm reading this right. And let me see here. And again, if I'm not, please somebody send me the information that says that was wrong. I'm just reading this article for the first time. At issue in the Werner appeal are several points of law, including the distribution of liability and the judge's judges charged the jurors in the original case. The case presents a textbook example of the nature and limits of duty and proximate cause, Werner's attorneys say in the opening sections of their appeal. The findings by the lower court are subsequent upholding of the lower court's action by the Court of Appeals shift in the question of legal duty significantly in Texas, the attorneys write. What the Werner case means so far is that the legal duty on Texas motorists in the state's largest appellate district to anticipate that vehicles on the other side of a divided highway will lose control and cross directly into their path. Okay, so we were reading that right. A failure to foresee this remote possibility and do everything possible to avoid it, including getting off the road entirely, can make the driver 100% responsible for almost any accident. Interesting. In the original finding of the 5-4 appellate court decision, Ali was faulted for continuing to proceed down the highway at a rate of speed that could have been considered excessive given the conditions. Testimony suggested that his speed was at least 43 miles per hour and as much as 50, while a tow truck operator on the same highway said conditions had forced him to cut his speed to 15 miles an hour. The speed limit on the stretch was between 20 and 75 miles per hour. Also in the appeal is the question of the liability borne by Werner. One of the issues was their admission rule that helps to limit liability of a company that already has conceded liability involving an incident as an employee should have an impact out there diminished by Werner. Barring these systems of claims would seriously contact. Okay, let me see here. The argument of the jury charges involves the precedent set to the questions of the case, each improperly combined multiple theories of the liability against Werner. Some of the issues that Werner sees improperly commingled involve, Werner said, were personal attacks on several Werner employees, including a female manager whom Blake's expert described as a good woman who lacked the muscle to have headed up its safety unit several years before the crash. Okay, this is really interesting. You know, and it goes on and it wraps up the article. And again, I kind of jumped around a little bit. The sole proximate cause of this traffic accident was that Salinas' sudden loss of control of his vehicle. Werner's attorney, right? None of Werner's conduct, whether negligent or not, was any more than a cause of Ali's being at the site of the accident. And that is not enough to impose liability in Texas. Again, without looking at the facts of this, but it states in here, so the car was heading down the opposite end of the, so essentially the Werner truck was headed westbound. For example, alleged example, this is all just a hypothetical, but just for context, the Werner truck was heading westbound on the freeway. This car was heading eastbound. The car lost control, crossed the grassy median, and jumped in front of the Werner truck. And then Werner's getting sued for being there. And again, I do need to state that it said that the driver allegedly was driving between 43 and as much as suggested his speed was between 43 and 50 miles per hour. I think that I don't see how that driver was at fault, right? Because like, again, before the show, I was watching, there was a video out there of a semi truck who was driving down the freeway. Another truck was going to pass them, and the driver in the right lane steer tire blew and then cut in front of that other truck and caused them both into an accident. And it's crazy though. Like, and I guess my point is here is like, this is just another thing that people have to deal with in this industry out on the road. Like all things, and again, this is my opinion based on the information provided to me in this article that I'm reading right now, is that driver was on the other side of the road and that car crossed the median and then he hit them. It's tough, man. That's really tough. The biggest issue is that somebody died out there. A child died and was killed in this, to me. And that's what breaks my heart. But it's crazy to me that it's like that they got sued for $100 million for them being there. And that's, again, I think like the broader point for me is the nuclear verdict. It's the nuclear verdict. And for me, it was, it's just that's the bigger problem here at hand, is the fact that these nuclear verdicts are being handed out left and right. And clearly, and I'm not saying that there isn't any fault, because I don't know if the driver was driving too fast. And again, it's alleged here, suspected so we need to point that out, that that company can be sued. And again, you guys, when you're in business, that's on you, right? Like that's the shit that you're going to have to deal with. It's crazy to me. And I'm not trying to argue anything other than stating the facts of this article. And it's wild that a company can get sued for them just driving and then a car crossing the median. I don't know. That's nuts. That's nuts to me. So that article, freightwaves.com, and Werner's appeal of $100 million Texas verdict focused on legal arguments. It's nuts to me that that is something. And again, this is like any business owner out there can deal with that, or is going to deal with that at some point. And it's to me, it's sad. Obviously, if you guys, shitty things happen in life. People are killed in traffic accidents all the time. But it's like how I would like to see more. And maybe if anybody, because I know people from Werner watch this show. And, again, I don't know if you guys can publicly comment on this case, but I would love to talk to somebody on your legal team about this and how we can, I would like to really talk about this through and like what people can do in this situation. Cause like, this is a very common thing in the industry is nuclear verdicts and everything. And I can't, I don't know. I'm going to stop at that one with that before I say something that I could fucking get sued for because, First Amendment clearly doesn't exist anymore. Anyways, you guys, that article was from FreightWaves as well. Last article is, I'm just going to kind of summarize it. And, again, this is from transportdive.com and it's LTL's slow fragmented approach to evolving with tech. I'm actually going to be, and why I chose this one is I'm going to be at the NMFTA conference in October in Houston, Texas, and it's on cybersecurity. And they're big in the LTL sector, and I learned from them so much. And I think that this is, because it talks about the slow emergence of LTL in there, and talking about the evolution of the industry of when this person, because this person got in 1977. And then it talks about the antiquated processes that are in there, but it talks about how there has been a slow adoption of tech in the LTL sector. And, again, with like I bring up the NMFTA again, is they're championing the digital BOL that's out there as well, and other tech advancements in the LTL sector. So again, it's a good little article as a whole, talking about how, it talks about the development of tech in LTL over time and everything. It's a good article as a whole, and it's from transportdive.com. I don't have all the time to read it because just like every single one of you guys, I'm out here doing stuff. I'm out here trying to build up my business just like you guys are. And that is going to be it though for today. If you're out there, again, kind of like we were talking about earlier, if you're out there building up your stuff, you guys go after it. Keep pushing through there. And, the market is changing. Things are changing. If you guys want up-to-date rating information, you guys hit up my friends over at Greenscreens, at greenscreens.ai/the freight coach. And it's going to help you guys win some more business. And that is, the load that I was talking to you guys about earlier to lead off the show with about that delivered in the customer satisfaction. We used those guys over at Greenscreens to bid that load, FYI. So anyways, you guys, that is going to be it for today. And as always, you guys, if you guys got value in it, subscribe to the show. That's all I can ask of you guys, because if you see value, your network's going to see value in it as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon.